Hello and welcome to another episode of Top Deck, the series where we take a look at some of the leading TCG deck lists. Today we have True Draco. This is Donald Musgrave's second place Furhouse Dublin regional deck profile. He went 5-1 at the event, so a really good job done by him. We're going to run through the deck list, take a look at the matchups, and then unfortunately Donald can't come on for a chat this time around, so I've sent him a bunch of questions over Messenger, so I'll get his responses from those after we've gone through the matches. Let's start off with double True Draco Slaying King Masterpiece, obviously, double single Ignis, triple Majesty Maiden, double Amano Mawato, triple Demise, triple Terraforming, double Duality, double Desires, triple Heritage, triple Disciples, triple Diagram, one Upstart, one Return, triple Erupt, triple Anti-Spell, triple Apocalypse, one Order, and one Skill Drain. For the side deck, 3 copies of Ash Blossom and double Gamma Seal. This is a little bit interesting, so we'll ask him about that. 1 Raigeki, triple Cyclone, triple D-Barrier, and triple Iron Wall to help you out in those challenging matchups. So the rounds that he played, round 1 he went against Zephyr and 2-0'd them. Round 2 against ABC, he went 1-2, so we'll ask him about that. Round 3 up against Magician and went 2-0. Round 4 against 60 card Zombie Swarm, he went 2-1, which is really good, because it can be quite a challenge to take on Zombie Swarm when they manage to get things going. Round 5 against True Draco, he 2-0'd them, and round 6 against Trickstar Spiral, so a bit spicy, making it to the round 6 is still going strong, and he 2-1 that deck. So let's get the comments from him in response to my question. So first of all, I asked about the double Amano Awato. So typically we see this as 3, because you need it to get around big boards, especially like some of the boards that Pendulum Magician can put on, in order to stop them from disrupting you multiple times in a turn. You know, you just summon this and instantly you're going to be able to push through a lot of stuff. So we only played 2 Amano Awato because the deck was built to go first or second. Also, a friend had given him the list and he decided to change only 1 card in it. There were 3 Masterpiece, but he dropped it to play the Upstart Goblin, which, yeah, I think is correct. Masterpiece doesn't really generate you advantage in the same way that the other True Draco cards do. Especially the spells and traps, you know, they do some, like, their removal as well as giving you advantage, and the monsters just give you that additional advantage, whereas Masterpiece is basically just popping stuff, so it doesn't actually get you more cards to play with, which I think these do a lot better. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Then I asked about the decision to go with 2 copies of Duality and 2 copies of Desires, instead of 3 and 3, which is typically what we see. And I suggested, maybe it was because he was trying to fit in Anti-Spell. And he said, exactly, I wanted to fit in Anti-Spell because I felt that there would be more Magicians and a form of Invoked around, so I wanted to shut them out more. And definitely, yep, if you manage to flip an Anti-Spell Fragrance, having taken first turn against those decks, you pretty much just win the match unless they have access to, I think it's Red Moon, which is the Invoked Mech Knight. One of the Mech Knights that gets played in the Invoked deck. But against Pendulum Magicians, there are very few things that they actually have to deal with this, unless they, you can attack into a bigger monster with your Purple Poison and then use that to pop, but you're still, you're losing a significant amount of advantage in having to do it like that, which is unfortunate. So yeah, definitely worth playing Anti-Spell if you can fit it in. Then I naively checked about Ash and whether it would clash with Demise, because as we know, Hand Traps and Demise do not go well together. So the perfect response from Donald came in. Ash never clashed because I sided out Demises as I expected to go second, so the 2 would never be an issue. And yes, that is perfectly correct. I was a fool for thinking that you would have this in with Demise. Then Gamma Seal. This is a little bit odd. So we typically see Ra, the Sphere Mode version, because it can remove multiple monsters at once, which is very crucial in, say, the Pendulum matchup, sometimes against Lightsworn as well. You want to be able to remove multiple monsters that could disrupt you during your turn. So Donald said, in all honesty, I didn't have access to Sphere Modes, so Gamma Seal was the next best option, and yes, if you don't have access to a Sphere Mode, Kaiju are kind of what you have to go with. But good to know that if you're a good enough pilot of this deck, then you don't need the Sphere Modes to win in those matches, which is really well done. Waterfall is the sort of thing that we've seen on a few of these decks before on Top Deck. It's an option that won't clog in the hand with Demise, because you can set it to search out your monsters, but essentially you can maintain the same number of monsters within the deck, and you can use the traps to tribute on your opponent's turn. But you've only got 3 of these, obviously, and you don't always want to search it out. So I asked him if he would play Waterfall, but Donald said that he just doesn't like it as a card. He prefers having the monster presence with back row to fall upon. Next question. It was about the round 2, his loss to ABC 1-2. I wanted to know if there was anything that he could have actually done differently in the game that caused him the loss, or if it was just unfortunate, because we do know that True Draco has the tendency to brick if it's not... so it bricks a lot more if it's structured incorrectly, but I think this deck is pretty well structured, so I wasn't expecting it to brick very much, and if it was just the 1 brick throughout the day, then that seemed pretty reasonable. And he said, yep, I drew 3 monsters in a row, and I couldn't summon anything. I needed a spell so that I could summon something, frowny face. Which pretty much sums up what happens when you brick with this deck. It's just pretty much impossible to play in those cases. Then checked what was his easiest match, what he felt the most comfortable with. He said that Magicians were by far the easiest to play against. I never felt in a bad situation or worried that I would lose. Then decks can often have issues, you want to know what the problems are with the deck so you can work around them and structure your card choices in order to combat them. So I checked what he thought was an issue with this deck. He said maybe getting to a draw card. Sometimes I didn't draw into one, and I would probably put in more draw cards in order to account for that. I'm not sure what you would take out, because obviously these were taken out to fit in the anti-spells. So you'd have to have a think about that one, and I believe Donald would be consulting his deck builder in order to come up with solutions for that. But he would 100% play the deck again. He had a lot of fun with it, and he's played it 3 times at events and either topped or won with it, and he really enjoys playing it, so definitely recommended from him. I think it's a fantastic deck to try out. We've got some great lists coming up for it, as well as this one, which is obviously extremely well performing, although maybe if you can, get some sphere modes to swap out for the Gamma Seals. Other than that, I have no further comments on the deck, but if you've got anything to say, then just chuck it down in the comments section below, and we can have a chat. Congratulations again to Donald for getting 2nd place at the Dublin Regional, and hopefully we'll see you again in the future, and good luck in your next event. Shoutouts from Donald go to Team Karibos, Daniel Neville for a lend of the deck, and to Cormac Adams for his side deck choices. Thanks for watching this episode of Top Deck. If you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to make, leave them in the comment section down below. Check out the description for details of how you can get involved in this series. You can enter by voice interview, or instead you could just send all of your information over Facebook Messenger. Anything like that will be absolutely fine. If you want to see anything in particular from the upcoming series, then be sure to get in touch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.